everybody, welcome back to Angry Badger Minis, where we are back working on some stuff. I made some changes. I'm waiting on my whatever this is. I don't know why this is not showing up at the moment. Hold on a second. I'm trying to get my restream chat up. Not sure why it wasn't working. There it goes. No, I don't know. For some reason, it's like all transparent and stuff. Why are you doing that? Alright, maybe it's not transparent anymore. I don't know. Windows 10, man, sometimes just... Anyway, last night, if you joined us, and I appreciate those who did, especially my new subscribers. I don't know why, but YouTube just does not tell me, you know, who you are, when it happens, or anything. I just happen to see that the number went up. So thank you. That being said, we were talking about, well, we talked about GW price hikes and stuff, but I'm not getting into that crap tonight. What we are talking about, and I'll go into what's happening here. Looks like a giant mess of stuff, right? I have these two old Chaos Obliterators because I'm starting to put together my Chaos Army, and you know, and tweak some of the old stuff that I was able to find, like these old Terminators and whatnot. Let me make sure my focus is on. Yeah, there we go. You know, and making them a little bit bigger by using green stuff and things like that to, you know, to give them some more bulk. That being said, I was talking about how I was going to, I thought that I was going to go ahead and try to take these old Obliterators, I have two of them, and convert them into, you know, like cut them up and do some stuff. And I just got to thinking about it, and I'm like, you know, I don't know how much, as big as the new Obliterator is, you know, and I'm not going to buy it. I mean, I'm just not. I was thinking to myself, you know, is it really worth the effort? And what else could I do with these? And what I came up with is, I have an Adeptus Mechanicus army, so I could easily use these guys as servitors, gun servitors. And so that's what we're going to do with these. That way I don't have to mess around with them too much. I'm not going to care if they get wiped off the table in the first turn or anything like that, you know. It's just everything was too small compared to how things are. So I got to thinking to myself, like, man, you know, what can I do to make these Obliterators? And it's not like I need them. I mean, I don't even know if they're any good on the tabletop. The way I read the rules, it doesn't seem like they're all that great. I've never used one in my life, so I have no idea. Those were literally broken out of the blister packs last night. So I started looking at the Hellbrute, and, you know, I have a bunch of them from the Dark Vengeance box set, and I was thinking to myself, well, maybe I can cut the legs off and then bring them in closer and do something like that. So I started filling around with it. I didn't cut anything up, but I started filling around. I was like, man, you know, this thing's really big. So I got online just to see if anybody else had done something like that, and they hadn't done that. Excuse me. And the reason I was looking at it was the feet themselves. The feet of the current Obliterators look like the feet of the Hellbrute. The only difference is the Hellbrute feet are considerably larger. So I was like, man, you know, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And it dawned on me just out of the clear blue, holy crap, man, I have, you know, 12 sets of the Dark Imperium box set where you get, you know, this Chaos Plague Lord guy, you know, and I mean, I've done some moving around in this. I'm going to show you why. I have 12 of these guys that there's nothing I could do with them short of, you know, turning them into Terminators, I guess, which, because I have the Typhus model, which I would use as my Lord, you know, because, I mean, that's just what I would do. And I was like, man, I wonder if there's a way, since it's so much bigger, well, it seems so much bigger than Terminator stuff, could I turn it into an Obliterator? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my conversion with green stuff and since he's already kind of nurgly, we're making him, in my mind, as an Obliterator with all the stuff that would happen to him. He would probably be more than likely Nurgle in nature. And so I don't see anything wrong with that. And if I end up not liking this abdomen, I can always cover that up with loincloth or something like that, or loin tabard, whatever. But I wanted to show you guys where I'm actually really stoked. I mean, the camera, I'm looking at the camera, it's not doing it justice. It's really not. And once this bad boy is painted up, and I may remove this helmet and put like a different helmet in or something like that, just because I'm not a real big fan of this ginormous, you know, horn thing. And I'm going to only make 3 of these guys. But I was really happy with what I was able to do. It's the first time I've ever used a color shaper, okay? I wish I had some that were a little more, a little stiffer, okay? But I don't. And, you know, and I did all that, and then of course I made, you know, I rolled some little Lincoln logs up or whatever, if you want to call it that, and kind of made some things and pushed them around, whatever, and it worked out really well. I mean, I'm really impressed. Yeah, I still got a little knurling dude down here, but I mean, that's easily, if I don't like it, you know what I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, he's stepping on it, so whatever. And I can paint this guy up however I want. Now, what did I use for weapons? So let's go over. Don't know if I can pull this window up for you guys. I'm gonna try. Okay. Well, I guess I can't do that. That stinks. Let's see here. Window capture 2. Here we go. Yep. Okay. Let me do it. All right. So if we take a look at this, you know, look at the rules here. The main thing we're looking at right here is the flesh metal guns. Okay. And that's, if you look, that's all they have. They have crushing fists and they have flesh metal guns. Nothing else. It doesn't say like what type of gun they are or anything like that. It's just about, you know, figuring out the strength of the weapon, the AP and all that, with a D3 on the first one. And if you're like me and you've never used, you know, these guys before, I had to kind of try to figure it out. So let me see if I have a die here. I know I usually have one laying around somewhere. I know I did. Then again, I did clean up my desk, so maybe I don't. Alright, well anyway, I just thought I can make it easier for those that can't understand what I'm trying to say. Oh, what am I saying? I have a die right here. Sorry. So let me shrink this down for us a little bit, even though I just got through making it larger. Oh man. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's close this up here. Let's bring this over. And I'm still a little unsure about something, so if any of you guys are, you know, watching this and you want to comment and stuff like that and tell me if I'm doing it wrong, please, by all means, because I want to know how this works. So we have one die here. Yeah, it's still not big enough, huh? Let's see here, or small enough, I mean. All right. So anyway, on a D6, we want to make this, you know, a D3 essentially. And basically, what it's saying, the way I'm understanding this, if this works out right, okay. Let me move this out of the way. Yeah. The way that this works is, for those of you that don't know what a D3 is or how you would do that, I'm assuming if you're into 40K and stuff like that, you would know. But anyway, a 1 and a 2 would equal a value of 1. A 3 and a 4, 3 through 4 would equal a value of 2, and a 5 and a 6 would equal a value of 3. And the way the rules read, it says each time this unit is chosen to attack with flesh metal guns, roll 3d3, okay, one after the other, to determine the characteristics of the unit's flesh metal guns when resolving those attacks. The first roll is added to 6 to determine the strength of the gun. So the best that we can hope for with the guns, as I'm understanding this, would be a strength of 9. Okay, because if you had a 5 or a 6, that would be 3 on D3 plus 6 is 9. Says the second roll is your AP, so you would roll that, and that would be, you know, up to a -3, okay, for your AP. And then your third roll is the damage up to a 3, you know, D3. Now, where I get a little wonky on this is if we take a look at right here where it says flesh metal guns 24 inches assault 6 plus D3 minus D3 D3, it actually just made sense to me. So okay, so we're gonna have to do that. My understanding is we would do it on the first time, so we're only gonna roll those 3 dice in succession once, and then that would be the strength, the AP, and the damage for all 6 shots. Is the way I understand this. So that's pretty cool. Now, again, it doesn't mean that it's super overpowered because you may roll horribly, but if we look at the stats on it, the lowest that we can get for strength would be 7. The lowest that we could get for AP would be -1, and the lowest that we could get for damage would be 1. So that's not, in my opinion, overpowered. Now they do have a 5+ invulnerable save, a 2+ save, 4 wounds, toughness 5, weapon skill and bliss skill 3, 3+, sorry, strength 5, and attacks 3 for in combat. So the way that I made this, all right, is I have a ton of extra of I'm trying to keep my fingers off the green stuff. I'm not sure if it's actually cured yet. It's been sitting around for a while, but I really don't want to get my fingerprints in it, and my fingers are really rough, so it would definitely imprint. I had a bunch of lightning claws. Okay, hold on. I think here. Actually, I have the parts right here that I can show you exactly what I did. Okay, so here, let me clear this out. Sorry. Let me put this over here because we need those pieces. And believe it or not, other than the weapons themselves and the fists, for the most part, the rest all comes from him. All right. This is all stuff I don't need, but I can use it later for something, whatever. And so I had these Terminator, extra Terminator lightning claws. And you don't have to have the ones... Oh, hold on, I got this stupid thing in the way. You don't have to have the ones like I have here. These Space Wolf ones. But... Hold on, let me zoom in a little bit. Reposition here. Make sure my Reddit chat is up. Anyway, you don't have to have the Space Wolf ones like I did. And then I had, one. I liked this particular bolter, storm bolter. I'm sorry, mainly because I needed a way to make. I wanted to have the rounds, be able to show, but not have a stupid drum hanging off the side where it just looked awkward. You know what I'm saying? So we have that. Then I had some Cadian arms with the grenade launcher, or grenadiers. So I took one of those, and then basically what I did is, and here's the parts. We got the leg, we got the body, the 2 parts of the body, and we've got the head, and that's it. So this is it in the arms. So all we did. Hold on, I don't have it in the shot. I'm sorry. Let me move that up there. So all we did was, we ended up cutting off, right here and here, and I did these cuts individually because I didn't want to scar up or ruin anything else. And I mean, yeah, it's kind of nergly. You're gonna put, the green stuff on and whatnot, and turn them, into this. Mutated dude, and it shouldn't really matter, but I was trying to be careful, and being careful works because it actually saved me some parts in the end that I can use for other things. So anyway, I cut his axe off, right? But when I cut up here, okay, if you'll look, this, we'll call it a plasma gun or whatever. If you look at, what the actual, trying to mimic what the actual model has, this is the back portion of the axe, okay? But I'm using the top of it, that right there, as I mean, to me it looks like a gun. It could be a gun barrel, so that's what I went with. And then I just cut off this little spike, and I cut right in here along this edge right here, because I wanted to be able to preserve this giant blade, and I wanted to give it, I wasn't sure exactly how it was going to work out with the first one, so I wanted to give it some kind of support that it would ride on the shoulders. Okay, and I cut that off, and then I cut each of the hands off right at the widest portion of the wrist guard. Same thing under here, did the same thing. That way I had some meat, so that when I cut these arms off of the Terminator lightning claws, then it would have something to stick to, right? And then I went ahead and I cut off all the lightning claw blades. I sanded down the edges right here, as you guys can see, and you know, so that way it looked as close as I could get it to the actual weapon systems of the Obliterators. Somehow or another I missed getting this in the hole. Not sure how that happened. I'll have to work on that later. And again, this is not a posable model. This is the, you know, the press fit, or, you know, push fit model from the Dark Imperium box set. And this was my first, you know, experiment with it. But it worked out great. I glued these two on top, just glued them. Went ahead and glued this on. I trimmed down, so like, I think I already did it. Yeah, I did. Anyway, when I cut the ammo, or the magazine well off along with the ammo, I cut the hand off first, okay? And then I cut in this way, and this is real important if you want to hold on to, if you want to keep this little rail system right here, if you will. If you cut in this way, then it will break right before it, and you'll preserve, and it should not break that off. I didn't have any problem with the second one either. Just take your time with it. And then I trimmed it down even further, you know, so it's not the whole thing right there. I trimmed it down just enough, and you're going to see me do this here with this guy, because he should be good to go. And I'm going to make a comment about this glue. You guys have heard me since I got it. I've been pretty happy with it. Well, my tone has kind of changed on that, and I'll explain why here in a second. But the reason I cut that is I just wanted just enough that I could put this at an angle so that it looks like the ammo is not sticking straight out, but it's actually, you know, flopping over in a way. And while this is great, we'll say for gap filling in a way, and it is very strong glue once it cures. Having used this now for what, a couple of weeks or whatever, maybe 3 weeks, I haven't gone through a lot of it, but I mean hardly at all really. But what I'm noticing is it's not as strong as it was when I first got it. I'm not sure why that is. Okay, not like crazy glue, where I almost have zero issues. But anyway, you guys see how I just put that on there, and then it's kind of like it's, you know, the belt fed stuff is kind of, you know, falling off, or gravity's doing something with it. So then what I did also, I forgot that I had these over here. I took 3 las guns and I cut them right before the magazine well, and then I glued them kind of upside down, if you guys can see this, where they're kind of upside down to each other in like a triple pattern. It doesn't have to be perfect, because you're going to end up covering most of this up anyway, just like I did here. Alright? And then that's going to go on the other gauntlet, or the other fist. You can trim up some of this other stuff, like this right here, I believe is the actual hand. Yeah, it's the hand right here. I just cut it off there, and then that gave me a little extra for something for the green stuff to hold on to. And you guys will see me do that here in a second when I start working with this again. You also have, I'm not even really sure what the heck this is, or what it was attached to. I'm trying to remember. But you're going to want to hold on to this little piece. It looks like a broken piece of bone with some kind of tassel hanging off of it or something.
Midwest Auto. How's it going?
Good, man, good. Just going over I don't know how much you heard, but I'm just going over, you know, my Obliterator conversions here, or kit bashing that I'm doing. So, yeah, you'll want to hold on to that. Well, you might need it. I needed it for my first one because right here in the back, I used it as kind of a cable, if you will, that connected the gauntlet just up inside underneath the cloak. So it just, you know, it had something there, you know, something else for me to paint, something else to tie it in, just wasn't some void. Now what I did, because this guy's basically done except for the base, what I did with this guy is I did the same cuts, okay? Everything's the same, but the difference is, oh, that reminds me, because under here, in order to get his fist to point out like that, you end up with a huge gap right here, just like I did here trying to reposition the fists, as you guys can see, okay, in the top and in the bottom, you know, where he's kind of got his, you know, his arm up like this, and then the other one's kind of resting on his knee there a little bit on that horn or whatever. But the point is, I'm not worried about these gaps because I'm going to green stuff that, and you can completely fill that in, and it's going to be awesome. And then I cut the little key, if you will, underneath the head, this part right here, because we got a third one we're going to do. This, whoops, sorry, this part right, come on camera, this part right here, we cut that off so that I could reposition the head however I want to. And like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with these heads, just because I'm not a real big fan of this horn here. But right now it's what I've got, and of course it looks like a, you know, a Nurgle Lord in a way. And I would like to get a normal, either a normal Space Marine helmet, or normal Space Marine, or a Chaos Space Marine helmet that doesn't have any horns or whatever, and possibly stick that in there so it just has a little bit of a different look. And I'm sure I've got something laying around. But I'm just not, you know, I'm not in a hurry to do that at the moment. So anyway, or I could get something off of eBay probably. So anyway, it's that simple. Now I probably could have taken more time and effort to maybe do something with the legs, cut them up, straighten them out, green stuff, you know, whatever. And who knows, maybe we'll do that with this guy, I don't know. Because I do want them to be slightly different. But, what am I trying to say here? It's a lot of work to do for, I don't know, kind of like the juice isn't worth the squeeze kind of thing, you know? It's just not something I'm that concerned with. So, and again, this one didn't stay in the hole either. What the heck's going on here? I think there's just an imperfect model. There we go. Well, wants to come back out again. Some hard plastic, that's for sure. But as you guys can see, I mean, this is basically my completed, you know, kit bashed Obliterator. I think it came out really well. I mean, especially the, you know, pushing the green stuff around, getting it kind of muscular, mutated flesh or whatever. You know, some veinage going on and some ways to connect, not just have two things sitting up here and just like a cloth over them kind of thing. And I think it came out really well. So I'm actually really pleased with it. And it's, because it's this guy, naturally it's bigger than the Terminator. It's even bigger than the Space Marine, the new Space Marine Terminator models, which is crazy. But that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be larger, at least in some capacity. And I'm fine with that. And since it's going to be Nurgle, and the biggest Chaos army that I possess will be Nurgle, Plague Marines and stuff, these guys will fit right in. And they'll fit in just fine with, you know, Black Legion or whatever. It's not going to matter. So, you know, and I may even paint them a little bit more black than whatever the rest of the Nurgle army is, just so they can kind of tie in. I don't know. We'll see. And who knows? Maybe if it works out well enough, maybe I'll be willing to sacrifice a couple more for, say, you know, or a few more for Slanesh or Khorne or whatever. I mean, who knows? I mean, all it would take to convert these is to cut this abdomen sack off, put a tabard here. You'd never see it was hell. You could just put it over there anyway, And then, you know, anything that was nurgle, just scrape it off. It's not even a big deal. You know, really cut off these sensors, or what do they call these things? I think it's called a sensor. Not sensor as in something that reads something, but like, you know, you swing it and it's got incense and things like that coming out of it. I might be wrong on the name, but I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was a really good way of utilizing these guys, since I have 12 of them. And it's like, you know, you can't put 12 Chaos Lords of any type in Terminator armor on the battlefield. And yes, even if I made them all a squad of Terminators, well, then they all look the same. You know, you're kind of limited on what you can do. So, what we're doing, or what we're going to do now, since we got this guy done, we're going to work on this one. We'll push this guy over to the side. Make sure I got all his parts and bits. And I'm gonna finish putting this guy together. I hope. Hopefully the glue gods will work with me. So what we need to do now, it feels like it's working a little bit. I need to go ahead and put some more glue in here and fill this gap. And I had put some glue there, but it was so much it wasn't working. And this guy's leaning more forward than the other guy was because of the way that all the arms are positioned. I want to put this on. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to cut these sights off the bottom here. I was using them on the other one to fit in between the knuckles, but I just don't think it's worth it. It's just becoming a pain to me. And I'm going to sand that off a little bit to give it some grip. And hopefully I can stay in the camera for you guys. I'm just trying to keep it kind of close so that you can see what's going on. Actually, let's put the glue on this side. Okay. Hold on there. Get my fingers around my hand. Now I'm sure that this guy will be a little bit harder to work than the other one because, you know, it's not straight down like the other one was. But, I mean, it's really not that hard, you know, once you do it. I just need to get the guns sitting here the way I would like them to sit. I mean, and that's another thing, too. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm being way, way too particular for something that's supposed to be mutated and everything else. But that's just my OCD kicking in, I guess. So what are you working on there, Western? Alright. Looks pretty good. A little bit of a dynamic pose, if I do say so myself. Alright. I guess I thought about swapping these, but there's really no point because I don't think they did that with the actual Obliterator model. So I'm not too concerned about it. You know what I'm going to do to make my life easier? Oh, he'll lean back. Okay, that's cool. Alright. Let me get this going. Just rough this up a little bit. And if you're new to the channel or you haven't in the past, please like, share, comment, subscribe, check out our Discord, it's free. And if you feel like helping us out, there's a Patreon link. Only if you think you can and you feel like you don't feel obligated. I mean, when you first do this, you're like, oh man, this looks like crap. Believe me, I know. That's exactly how I felt. That's why I didn't do any real real, like when I first put these weapons on, I put the ones on top first, just in case I didn't like it. That way I could go ahead and, you know, rip them off if I didn't like it. But I'm actually pretty happy about it, and I got the seal of approval from my wife, so there's that too. Not that she's like really into chaos or anything, but hold on, what do we got going on here? We got some kind of flashing here we need to remove. But I'm looking forward to getting this going. I can't even remember how many freaking, let's see. I don't remember how many Plague Marines are in the Dark Imperium box set, but I've got 12 boxes. So I've got all those Primaris, all those Plague Marines, 12 bloat drones, 12 of these dudes, or rather, you know, 9 more. I think there's Poxwalkers. What I got? 240 something Poxwalkers, I think. Something like that. It's a crazy number. And that's going to be a chore because I do not like the smile that's on the Poxwalkers' faces. I think it's the stupidest thing in the world. I don't know who thought that was a good idea. I get what they're going for, the whole creepy clown look kind of thing, but it just looks dumb. It did not come out well to me in the deal, you know, in it. So I plan on taking something and filling up their mouths so that they almost don't have anything. Think of it like, if you guys remember the movie The Matrix, I'm sure you do. You know, when Neo was in the interrogation room in the police officer's office or whatever, and they turned around and said, you know, something to the effect of, you know, what if he can't speak or something like that, and then his mouth, you know, basically folds over on himself or seals up on him. That's kind of what I'm kind of thinking they're going for. Right, that is on there, and unfortunately it was not enough yet to provide the support that I need for it to, oh, well maybe that's the problem. I'm like, why is this thing leaning forward so much? It shouldn't be, because there's crap on the bottom that I missed, apparently. How about that? Maybe that has something to do with it. Huh, imagine that. Of course. Alright. Well, we're going to let that guy cure for a bit. And while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and work on this dude so you guys can see the process, because I'm super tired. Our little lady last night did not... Oh, that's where it came from. It's it's the hilt of the axe. That piece that I was telling you about, you might want to save to put in the underarm area. I was like, where did I get that from? That's where you get it from. So hold on to that part. Want to, I guess you could leave this little, you know, sensor on, whatever, but I didn't on this part of it. I cut it off because I felt like it was going to get in the way of the arm. If it, you know, later on I feel like I want to go back and put it back on or something, because he's going to be basically Nurgle anyway, you know, Plague Marine, Plague Obliterator, then, you know, it's right there, you can do it. I'm also, like I said, making careful cuts because I want to save these parts for whatever it is that I need them for. I'm all about saving bits, man. Okay. Clip off this hot damn spike here. Watch out now. Alright, and then I'm going to cut this off. This right, basically right down the line, if you will. So, actually I want to go this way with it. No, I don't. there. Oop, killed this guy. Okay, and then guess we'll come in from this side. And then we're going to cut it off right here at the wrist. But remember, don't get stupid because this is your gun that goes on the shoulder. You know what I'm saying? And now we have that arm. And then we're going to turn the arm over and cut it off at the wrist. And now our arms are ready, our gun is ready. As you can see, the hand is still on there, but you're not going to be worried about that because it's going to get covered up with green stuff. Can you believe each one of these models is 95 points? That's crazy, isn't it? Like I said, I've never used one before, so I don't know how viable they are or not, but that's pretty interesting. Let's see. Okay, that goes into his chest, so I don't want to cut that off. Alright, while we're working on arms here, let's just go ahead and do these. We got that gun is there. I'm going to go ahead and cut his head off, or I mean the neck part. Slide that over there. Got some flashing right here on the horn. That horn just is kind of ridiculous. Alright, so this was the critical part I was trying to tell you guys about. So, what you're going to do, like I said, basically is cut off, you know, behind the gun. Okay, that's the first thing. You're not worried about destroying the rest of this arm. Right? And then carefully, we want to cut underneath the gun. Hopefully I'm keeping this in the camera here. And if you got to make more than one cut, like I'm a little nervous about this one because it's got some skull on there that is setting off my clippers, then just cut it in a couple spots, you know what I mean? And just take your time with it. Don't get too crazy. You can always clean that up with your razor blade later. Now this part right here, I did it being with my, you know, my clippers in my right hand. I'm coming from the back, all right? Get that extra plastic off of there. I'm getting up as close as I can, but look, I'm not going all the way to the front. You see what I'm saying? I'm leaving a gap there. And I'm going to cut slowly, just like that. And then it breaks off right before that little rail system right there, so that way you still have that. Then I'm just going to come back in here, clean this up a little bit, just so it'll lay flat on my gauntlet. And then that's really all you need. Get this flashing off the barrels here so I can drill my barrel holes later. And then for this part, like I said, you're going to lay it down, you know, whichever side you want to be up. Okay, for me, I did the longer side up like that. And then you're just going to trim off the excess with your blade. Don't try to cut it off because you're not going to get it. It's going to be too rough. Just nicely like that. Okay. Let's see here. Try to get into camera. What the heck? Alright, anyway, like that, okay? So now that's prepped and ready to go. You could go ahead and try to glue it on here, but I would advise not to because you're going to use part of the gauntlet as a support for it. And you probably already saw me do that, but you'll see me do it again. Now, when it comes to the gauntlets themselves, it's completely up to you. But what I wanted to save the cable, okay? That was my thing. I wanted to save this cable right here. And then after that, I cut off the rest of the Terminator arm. Okay? Because I felt the cable added a little something to, oh my gosh, I almost cut the wrong side. That's what I get for talking and modeling at the same time. If you want to cut these little bits off, it's fine. I don't think I bothered. No, I didn't. So it's just one more little piece of detail. You know, it doesn't really matter. This guy right here, obviously the arm is bent weird, so I've got to cut it a couple times, but that's fine. Just want to make sure I don't cut that cable right there. I'm gonna get back in here. Make sure we're a little leveled out or whatever. That's a little too rough for my sandpaper, so I'm going to trim that up with a razor blade first. And there you go. Now we get over here to this guy, his actual body parts. We got the leg here. We just got all this crap on the bottom. Let's see. Sorry. I'm working outside a lot these days in the rain and everything. My freaking hands are tore up. My nails, everything. I just realized that. So, apologies. Okay. Oh, and I already did it. I left them downstairs, but there's a top portion up here that I cut off of the Nurgle sign and everything with the flames coming out and stuff. I cut that off. It was going to be in the way anyway, and just I wanted it to have his own look and separate him from the actual Chaos Lord model, or if I let them be Terminators or whatever. So that's what happened there. So here we have this, and so we've got everybody's got their leg up on a freaking Nurgling right now. We just got a couple of arm changes and we got a head change. So what else could we do with this guy? Well, we could possibly, because we see how this hose or whatever you want to call this goes in here. It's meant to have him do that. Okay. Actually, what the heck's going on here? That does not seem right at all. Oh, that's why. He wasn't leaning forward enough. Oh no, that's not why. It's because I got this stupid piece of flashing on here that's stopping me from getting his leg in there. Alright, yeah, there we go. Okay, so we can go with that again, which it's not a bad pose for this Obliterator deal because they're kind of, bracing themselves for their guns or whatever. The only thing is I'd like to have something different. And the only way that we could do that would be to cut the leg right here, but we risk ruining a lot of this. And like I said before, I don't know that the juice is worth the squeeze on this one. I really don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not gonna do it. I mean, I can do it. I have no doubt. I'm just thinking of the time it's going to be involved to make it look the way I want it to and satisfy my OCD versus, just an ad hoc job or whatever. So we'll get that leg in there. Let's see if it's standing up at least. It is. Seems like it's leaning over further than the other guys. Let's see this. Maybe a little bit. Maybe I didn't quite go as far as I was supposed to with those guys. I don't know. Or maybe it's leaning too far back. Alright, let me get some glue on here. Like I said, when you get this glue on here, no doubt, it holds very well, but for some reason it's not gluing as fast as it used to. Oh my gosh, I forgot to clip these off too. Man, I must be more tired than I thought. Some of you guys are probably screaming at me right now, you didn't trim it up. You're right, I didn't. But it's okay because it's Nurgle. So it'll be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. That's my making fun of songs song. Alright, so while we let that cure, we have one other thing we gotta do. These las guns over here. I'll show you what we're doing here. You only need 3 of them. And you're not going to use the clippers on this one. You're going to go right in front of the magazine well here, and then cut down straight. And I recommend doing it on the side that the Aquila is up, because you still may cut at an awkward angle, but at least you're not fighting that, you know, on the way down, rolling the gun. You've got a more flat surface to work with. And you are going to want to cut off the this little tabard or whatever, you know, whatever this is that they put on there, wrap their gun with, because obviously the Obliterator wouldn't have that. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we're going to turn one las gun upside down. Actually, let me do this. I haven't done this for the other two. Might have helped. We're going to grab another one, turn it upside down, and it'll be Aquila on flat, basically. Since you can sand it like I just did, and it literally almost all came off, it should go a little bit better. Go ahead and just put a little bit of glue there. Not a lot. Make sure this is upside down again. And again, make sure they're both upside down. Or right side up, I guess, if you're looking at it the right way, but I'm trying to look at it from the upside down point. Turn it over. Okay, try to get in this white here so you can see. Turn it over. Use your razor blade or some straight edge to line up your barrels like that by pushing it into your fingers. And then at the same time, put your fingers on the barrels and then push down on the back to make everything relatively level. And then what I like to do is put just a little bit more glue right there in the middle, in that gap. And we're going to let that sit. We're not going to put this one on yet. When we put this one on, this flat part right here is what's going to go down on that. So that way the underside of all the barrels are pointing at each other, basically. I say I'm not going to do that, and then watch me. I'm so damn impatient. Let's see if I can get it to work on the first try.
Craftsman Studio. Hi.
Hey brother, how's it going? You're catching me at my drunken, I say drunk, I mean not alcohol drunk, but fatigue drunk attempt at doing some kit bashing here to make a model or a series of models because I don't want to buy the one that they sell. Actually, I don't even know if you can anymore, but I sure as hell ain't paying these prices. They just increased. I'm done with that, man. I'm totally done. But I'll show you what I was working on. This guy basically is a mutated, you know, gunslinger type guy with all kinds of guns and stuff. And it's actually in the game, and I used what's called
Craftsman Studio. Good, just doing some housework.
Oh, right on. But yeah, this came out a lot better than I thought it would. So while we're waiting on this to dry, or cure rather, we'll slide that over there. And I forgot that we needed to cut off the Now this is painful for me, I'm not gonna lie. Cutting these off right here, it's just so painful. But I have to remind myself I have plenty more of these lightning claws downstairs. All of my Terminators are basically built, and I don't really use lightning claws, to be honest with you. It's just not my thing. Maybe Blood Angels or something like that, but I really like Thunder Hammers and Storm Shields. So let's see here. And then I sand this, you know, the knuckles off, or down, not off, but down. Okay. Guess there's a little more on here than I thought there was. There we go. Okay. Yeah, definitely more on this one. Okay. Push these over there. You can use them later for something. Alright. This is still curing. Slide that over. And you might be tempted to go ahead and put your guns and stuff, you know, on there now. But I would tell you, don't do that, because you're going to want to know how you're going to position things. Now, for simplicity's sake, we can just go ahead and glue these in as they're supposed to be, which is probably the better deal. Just because, well, actually, you do kind of need to, unless you want to do some green stuff repair work, because I forgot that they actually do make up the joint of the armor, like right in there. Saw how that, you know, came together as a push fit type of deal. So yeah, I forgot about that. Like right here, it's gonna make up where the armor and the cloak come together. So you'll see what I mean here in just a second. If I can get it in there. Yeah, just like that. Yep. And now, the only thing that we can really do dynamically, you know, trying to figure out how we want this. Now, I really like the original pose that I did. The other guy, he's got the arm kind of tilted in, resting on the knee kind of thing, but it hides this, you know, this kneecap blade right here, which isn't bad. But what I was thinking about doing, if I can pull it off, was turning this arm more like this and up in the air, so that the storm bolter is up in the air this time and off to the side. And we can do it. I think I'm gonna make a different cut. Not that, I was just trimming something off. I'm thinking about making a different cut. Or make, well, I guess I don't have to. Let me just see here. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. So, yeah. Alright, so what we'll do, I'm gonna make just a small flat area right here. Nothing huge. Just enough that I can get some glue on there and give it a little bit more of a connection than anything else. Put a little bit of glue on there. Okay. Slide that cable underneath there. Tilt that on there. Hey, wake up over there. You're dreaming. Dog's having a chasing something or having a nightmare. Hey, Henry. So as you guys can see, it's barely holding on. And that's where that green stuff's going to come into play, filling all that in. So I'm going to put just a little bit of glue on top here. Let it seep down in there, kind of do its job as a gap building medium. This cable doesn't quite make it, so I'm going to put a little bit there as well for some gap filling. And I mean, it's probably not even something you'll notice once everything's, you know, undercoated black and stuff like that. So that means that will have a storm bolter up, and it's just going to give our guys a little bit of diversity in pose. Man, I hate that word. Difference in pose. Alright, so his arm is down, his is up. Maybe we can lay this one over the belly like that. That's not too bad, actually. That'll definitely differentiate the pose. Yeah, let's try that. I think I can live with that. And I mean, if you look at that, that looks like a huge gap to fill. It's not going to mean anything with green stuff, man. Just roll it up, stick it in a hole, and then work your magic. Or milliput. Milliput would probably work, I just don't have any handy at the moment. That is going to be more weight on the front, though. But he seems to be standing just fine. Okay. What time is it? Midnight? Yeah. I may get to the point where I get the guns on. Whew, and I may have to call it quits, guys. I'm pretty zonked. Got a lot to do tomorrow too. But I wanted to get on here since I hadn't been on in a while. Except for last night, of course. Alright. So while that part's curing, let's work on getting the top guns on, and then we'll worry about the side gun. Well, I'm gonna stick this guy's head in here, but I'm not gonna glue it in at the moment because I'm not sure how I want him to have his head facing. I almost feel like his head's gonna face to the right again too. That's what I'm thinking. His arm fell off. Of course it did. I guess it could face straight forward, maybe. But nah, I think it needs a face to the right. I think that's the right thing to do, no pun intended. just because of how his arms are. But getting his head to work in there is the problem. You're supposed to put the head in first before you put the back on, and I'm trying not to knock this other crap off. There we go. Except that he's looking up. I don't like that. Oh no. I'm having such a problem with this guy. There we go. Yeah, now he's got, it looks like he's looking to the right and he's ready to smack a loyalist instead of a heretic. Let's see. Except his head seems awfully recessed to me. Did I just not cut off enough on the bottom? Is that what's going on here? No? Looks like we cut it all off, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really a big fan of this helmet anyway. I would just really like it to do what I want it to do. It's tilted enough, I guess, for now. I'm just not going to glue it in. Alright, so let me get this going here. Actually, I need a razor blade. Most of this is going to be covered up with green stuff anyway, but where's the other one? Right here. Okay. Probably cut that off. Don't need that. I'm also putting these guns on not straight, but at kind of an angle, off to the right and off to the left. Because it's supposed to be like living tissue, you know what I mean? Like it moves based on the muscle and everything that's around it. So should be able to traverse and whatnot. Losing this fight. I gotta wake up. Nope, I knew I was gonna hit one of these arms and knock it off. I knew it. That's what I'm saying. This glue, it was great in the beginning, but I don't know what the heck's going on with it now. It's just like I don't know, it doesn't glue that well. I mean, yeah, like I said, if you let it sit and cure, it's fine. It's strong, you know, whatever, but it's not that way initially like it used to be, where I could just barely touch it to something and it was solid. It's definitely not insta-cure, I can tell you that, not anymore. So not real stoked about that part of it. And it's almost like the second you try to glue something and then take it off, you've ruined that area somehow. It's crazy. Never really had those problems with like crazy glue. Stuck there, and of course, see, it's falling right off all on its own. Just the craziest thing. So I'll let that sit there for a second. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm really pleased with how this guy came out. He really looks good. He's going to look really even, a lot better even when he's painted. And who knows, maybe I'll go back and add a little bit more green stuff and stuff, things like that. Maybe I'll do something with his feet, to make it look more like the Obliterator foot. But regardless, I am for not having a plan and just throwing something together. I couldn't have asked for a better result, really. So, yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it. But let me see if I can put this back on. I'm knocking the gun off the top. Alright. That's on. He's holding. We got his brother over here. His uncle over here. Cousin, whatever you want to call it. Okay, we got these two that are waiting to be put on. Got this piece, that piece for liver. Don't do that for that guy. And then that will be it for putting the weapons on, and then it's just a green stuff game. And you don't need a lot, man. Let me tell you. I'm telling you from experience, you do not need a lot. But I am not going to do it tonight like I thought I was going to, so I apologize. I'm going to let this stuff cure, and I will deal with it later because I need to get some sleep. So, all that saying, thank you guys so much